Hey friends, Taylor here with Blumen Handcraft, and I have just been kind of filming a few short videos for social media, and they ended up being a little bit longer. And so I just thought maybe this would be a good time while I'm stitching a purse strap to make a little bit of more of a longer video and share with you kind of my thoughts behind this process of making leather goods, and I don't know, kind of some of the reasons for why I wanted to start this YouTube channel and like gear it more towards not just gardening and flower farming, and more of like different things that we can do with our hands and our minds to develop like a sense of purpose and also just like provide some beauty in the world too. So right now I'm gonna adjust this and show you. Please excuse my really ugly t-shirt. I'm in the final stages of pregnancy. This is my 5th pregnancy and I am all for comfort, and this is a bigger shirt. So this is all I got, Michelob Ultra. But here we are. So I'm stitching a purse strap right now, and I'll put in some pictures of closer up here, but I'm saddle stitching using a stitching pony here. It's a very cheap stitching pony from Hobby Lobby. So you can, if you are really into, or if you want to get into leathercraft, you can find some things at local craft stores. But what I have found is that like Hobby Lobby is really the only craft store. Like I've been to Joann's, I've been to, well, Joann's is not really in existence anymore, I guess, but I've been there in the past. And then Michael's for sure does not have anything that I know of. Not my local Michael's. As far as leather work, I really don't like Michael's as a craft store, I'm gonna be honest, because it really just like barely covers the surf. Like there's really not a lot of craft stuff in there for crafting, unless you're like maybe crocheting or something. Joann's was like far superior, I felt like. And I do enjoy Hobby Lobby as well. If you are blessed enough to have a Tandy nearby, a Tandy leather, that is awesome, because you can get your hands on all kinds of materials and actually see the items in the store. Really helps, because when you're ordering online and you're like, well, what size of snap do I need? I don't really know what size. I can't fathom this. Like I'll pull out my ruler, but I don't really know like what size to buy. I've been in the mode of making belts lately, and I wrote about this on Substack a little bit, because I'm also a writer, so I got emotions that have to get out, and just some health issues in my family and whatnot. And like my husband's been asking me for a belt, and at Christmas time I was gonna make my brother-in-law a belt, and I ran out of time, and I still haven't made him a belt. And I made some stuff for my grandpa, and then he was like, oh, I'd love a belt, you know. And I just was like, why? I shared this on Substack. People have asked me for leather goods in the last since they've known that I've been doing this. And I just balk at the thought of like creating something that somebody actually asked me for. And why is that? I don't know. I think part of it is because the advice that on podcasts and things that I've listened to, interviews with people that actually do leather work for a living, they shy. A lot of the consistent advice I get is don't get into customs, because it can be really draining after a while, and you can get kind of like backed into a corner making stuff that you don't want. So when someone asks me for something, I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I can't commit to that, you know, and which is so silly. Like, I mean, there's a guaranteed sale. Part of it too is like I used to do wedding flowers. When you're doing something that someone asks you to do, it is super nerve-wracking, because you want the vision that they have in their mind to come true. And your vision in your head and their vision may be something completely different. But it's funny because like I've made certain items and people will be like, oh, how much would that be? So like they're not even asking me to make a custom item. They're just like, I made these leather bucket totes for gifts for Christmas last year. And I just was like, oh, it was just really pain in the butt to make. And like, I could have just set a price. Like they're probably not going to pay it, but like, I don't need to shy away from that. If somebody pays enough, I'll make a bucket tote for anybody, you know? So it's just so silly. But my God, in my head, like, I don't want to make a belt because I want to do it right. And I'm just not really sure. And like, somebody might not like it. Like there's so many nice belts that are fairly affordable on the market nowadays. So no one's going to want my belt. And finally, like, my grandpa was not doing good. And I was like, you know what? He asked me for a belt. I've been thinking about this for a year. And he asked me for a belt. And I haven't made him a belt. And that's just so stupid. Like, why would I not do that? And like, I told my brother-in-law that I wanted to make him a belt. And Christmas passed. Obviously, I didn't get to it then. But like, his birthday just passed. And I didn't make him a belt. And then my husband's been asking me for a belt. And I won't make the stupid belt. So finally I was like, you know what? I'm making the belt. I'm gonna do my husband's belt first and get my feet wet in that world and go from there. So anyways, this is how this whole purse strap thing has come into play. Because making a belt and making a purse strap is very similar because it's like a strap of leather, basically a strip of leather. And you can do 2 strips of leather and glue and sew them together, or you can do 1 strip of leather and you're putting hardware on it and you're putting holes in it maybe, and bada bing, bada boom, there it is. And so that's kind of where this inspiration came from. I do have a leather sewing machine. And that's another thing. I really was getting into leather work and I was like, I need a sewing machine to be more efficient. And it'll pay for itself once I like start selling stuff. And I justified it and got the industrial sewing machine right before Christmas last year. And I did use it for some things, but there's such a learning curve on the sewing machine. That I actually feel more confident in my hand stitch products, and I actually like the looks of my hand stitch products more than the machine. I need to learn a lot more about using machine before I feel confident in like that the stitching is gonna hold, first of all, in the way I want it to, and that's gonna still look nice. Right? Like I don't want to use a machine and then it look even worse than if I would have just had more of a handmade look to it. Because like handmade items, truly handmade, hand sewn, whatever, they can still look very refined and polished and all of that. So I started following this belt guy on YouTube, Robert Little, and he makes some really beautiful hand-stitched belts. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start out by doing hand stitching of my belts, and then we'll go from there. But what I wanted to share today, I guess, really, is just, if you want to do anything, you just have to get started, I guess. And I've been stuck in this mindset lately of, I just need to figure out my product line. I just need to have the best website. I just need to have the best social media presence. I just need to have a bunch of products made and go to a vendor event. I just need to do this. I just need to do that before I can actually like call myself a leather worker or a maker. And that's just, I've been leather crafting for a few years now. There are people with less experience than me that are out there selling their products. There's probably people with lesser skills than me that are out there selling their products, and that's just so silly for me to get in that mindset of like, first of all, not making the things that people ask for. And I know that that can be a trap, because you ultimately do want to do something that you like to do. But then also, if someone's asking you for something, like, why not do it? Get your feet wet, get the experience, and then go from there. Like, you can become established later. So there's a leatherworker that I follow, it's from England, and she just released a leatherworking course, and I just like her style. It's very simple, but very beautiful, and like very, just when you think of English, like old English style, but refined, like royalty maybe, but I don't know. But I started scrolling back through her Instagram the other day because I love, she shares little leatherworking tips, and she just talks about like the process of becoming a master saddler or whatever it is that they have over there. And I kind of look back at her not that long ago posts on social media, and she has a lot of different things she used to make, like before now. Like, she's pretty much making the same kind of stuff now, but like she made a lot of different stuff. And it was like a light bulb went off for me. It was like, why do I need to like hem myself into something right away when I'm still learning and I'm still perfecting my process? And like, why would I limit myself to just, you only have to have like 3 different products and you can't make anything else, and so on. I was really into bags, and I started making bags, but I wasn't making the straps because I really wanted a nice, sturdy, or unique strap, because I really feel like a strap can make a bag. You can have a beautiful bag, but you could also have like a plain, simple bag, and you can have a really beautiful strap, and it just levels up a bag for me. And so I just thought straps are a nice thing that could be customized, or you could really practice a lot of different skills making straps, because if you can make a really good strap, you can make a really nice belt, right? And if you can like stamp and dye, and stitch and glue and do all of the things on a strap, you can do it on a bag. So why not just do those things? People ask a lot more about belts and stuff like that. So why not like do more belts, do more straps that all practice the same skills? That way, maybe you can make something that people actually want and get started, because it's not cheap to have a leather hobby or business. And at some point, you gotta like sell some things. Like, you can gift a lot, and I think that's totally justified and fine, but at some point, gotta have a little bit of income coming in. I think the same with writing. So I have a couple books out. I'm hopefully going to be releasing my second novel in November this year, 2026. And I get so nervous about like, what do I want to be as an author? Like, what do I want? My first novel was contemporary. I'm not really into contemporary romance, but I do like it. I do enjoy it from time to time. I enjoyed writing the book till the cows come home. And I get so nervous to promote it because I just don't know if it really encompasses all of what I am. But at the same time, it was really valuable experience for me. I've enjoyed, like, people have enjoyed the book, so I shouldn't be like sad about that. And I should just keep going. Like, the next book, with the goal that the next book is always better. So the next book is always better than the first. It doesn't mean that the first one is awful, but just continually improving and finding your voice and finding your way. And I think that's the same with our craft. You just have to start somewhere, and then you like find your groove as you go, and then slowly over time everything kind of takes shape, and then you have a more refined like look and style, right? And I've been struggling to find that in the leathercraft world. I put a few items up on Etsy, and it's so hard because my shop was already existing. I had some jewelry that I had put on there several years ago, and so I've made one sale from one of my necklaces, and so it looks really bad because it looks like my shop's been there for a long time, but I've only made one sale. But it's like I really haven't had items on there. Like, I didn't renew the listings for a while, and so I don't know, I think that looks bad. Etsy's really saturated with a lot of really cheap products. You kind of gotta pay. It's kind of pay to play with the algorithm, it seems, like paying for stupid ads and stuff like that. I definitely get more views if I turn the Etsy ads on, but I don't want to pay for it. I don't know. So it's just hard when you're not really like, you have a lot of random stuff in your Etsy shop too. I feel like cohesion is a little bit nicer if someone visits your shop. So it's been a hard time landing on products is what I'm saying, what I want to actually make. Okay, I thought I would get a little bit of a closer up look at the stitching here. This is called a saddle stitch. And again, using a stitching pony, you don't have to, but it definitely makes this process go a lot faster. But something that I wanted to kind of discuss is why I found myself in this trap of like, I just get so exhausted with social media, and even like I love to make videos, but YouTube and whatnot. But I had a revelation the other day because I started a farm channel when we were a flower farm, and was able to grow that YouTube channel to like 500 subscribers, all just through my random ramblings about gardening and growing. And it's a very popular niche in any sphere, really, to be honest. So that helps. But I can see where you only need a few videos to like make things, stick. But our farm has changed. We are doing grass-fed beef now, and my husband now has taken over that channel. And what he's done a really good job of, I think, lately is just being very candid and just sharing the process. Like, we're not perfect. We're trying to build a regenerative farm. We're still involved with conventional ag and conventional farming with our main income right now. And so we're like just being honest along the way about like, these are our things that we have to deal with. These are the things that we have advantages on that maybe like another person might not, especially like the equipment and like the access to manure for fertilizing pastures and stuff. So I usually link in all the videos our farm there, and I still have all of my old gardening content and rose content and all of that stuff there, and it will stay there. So if you want to check on that, go ahead, down in the description. But I started this channel because initially it was like my author channel, but like, I don't know, I don't really like to talk about like books I've read and stuff like that. I do like to, but I felt like I was trying to like just do book reviews, and I don't know. I also didn't want to just be like, day in my life as an author, because I'm a lot more than that. And honestly, it's not that exciting. I'm in my pajamas a lot while I'm writing, and I just don't think there's enough there for a whole channel. Some people are doing it, but I wanted to talk about so much more than that, because I do love, our lifestyle. I love homesteading. I love like enjoying leathercraft. I love craft in general. Like, I'm very impressed by people that have certain skills, and I just want to know more about that. And like, I think we've lost so much of that in our in our country, in our world, to machines. And we're losing the writing craft to machines as well, and that's really super disappointing to me. And I don't want us to be like the people on the movie WALL-E, where we're living on this little cloud in the sky, and we're fat and incapable, and just always have screens in front of us, and like incapable of our own thought or skills. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, but it's kind of hard to explain that, if that makes sense. And I also love to think about business and marketing, and I'm not an expert though, so I can't really give you marketing advice, but I can only share what I've been doing. And so my point to all this is that my husband's done a really good job on our farm channel, even though we're not getting like a lot of views yet or anything like that. On some of the cattle stuff, I think we're gonna get to a point where people are gonna know him and see his videos and like really enjoy them, because they are so like candid, and just like, I just think they're just him, And at first it made me nervous when he would record stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, we're being too open, or we're being too informal. But finally I was like, you know what, I'm watching these videos and I'm enjoying them. I really think people just want that. Not that they have a lot of time to watch a 40-minute vlog, but he does little 10-minute videos, and he's just talking about what kind of like what's happening on the farm. And I'm still working on being a little more episodic on this channel, because I just think of topics randomly and I do videos randomly, and it doesn't seem to connect. But that's my goal going forward, is I really think just kind of being in more of a, this is what we're doing, this is what I'm thinking about, this is, is kind of the way to go. And I think in turn, I hope that helps me connect with readers, with customers, with like-minded individuals that we can have great discussions with, and all that stuff. So those are just some of my thoughts about craft and writing and this channel, and why I think it's important to just be open and honest, and not like, it doesn't have to be a production. Like, I have just been constantly worried about like, how do I hook people in the first 5 seconds? That's not really who I am. That's not how I write. You can go read my Substack or numerous blog posts and realize that like, I have so much more to think about than just like lists of like, here's some tips on how to do this. And yeah, maybe if I was teaching you something, like teaching you how to do a saddle stitch on YouTube, and I'm not saying that's out of the realm of the possibility, I would get more views. But there are a lot of great creators out there that have already done all this wonderful how-to content. Weaver Leather Supply, Chuck Dorset, he's the one that taught me how to do a saddle stitch on YouTube. Quarter Leather, amazing videos, great patterns, great content. There's all kinds of people that you can follow. I love Robert Little for the belt making. Like, I love him too, because he does do a how-to sorta, but he's also like just candidly talking about his experience at a market, or like what's selling, and like, or how he got started. Or somebody asked me this question the other day, and he's just responding to that, and I really appreciate that. And I've learned a lot from that. That's kind of where my head is at with all of this. So somehow at the end here, I've noticed that I have more string on one side than the other. So I don't know how I did that, but thankfully I made it to the end here, or I'm almost there. And so what I'm going to do is finish up in that last hole, go back a few stitches, and then I'll flip the belt over and we'll do the other side all down the side. And then this part of the belt will be done. And then this will attach to the purse, obviously. And then the other end, I'll have holes punched here I have this smaller strap, which I think I should have made longer, which is gonna have another one of these lobster clasps. On the other side, I have a buckle that I will use there. Then it can be adjusted to any length that you want, and hopefully I did the measurements right, but it should look really, really nice. And I kind of put it over my shoulder last night, and it's nice and sturdy, but it doesn't feel, it's an inch wide. It doesn't feel like it cuts into my shoulder yet, but we'll have to put a bag on it to see how it goes. But I've been enjoying this rainbow thread right now. I don't have good lighting in here, but once I get some better lighting, I think it'll look really cool with the rainbow thread. Okay, so here is the finished stitching so far. Looks really nice on both sides, looks nice and even. Obviously this is the back side, so it's not as pretty, but doing the 2 needles in the hole at the same time really, really helps make that look nice. And my lighting's not very good in here, so once we get it in the light, it's gonna look a lot better. But now we're gonna do the other side of this. I'm really liking this so far. So that's about all I have for today as far as just talking about this channel and like the process of making this purse strap and just my thoughts behind it and everything like that. I'll show you like the end product of this purse strap, and it will be available. I'll have links in the description to where you could find it if you happened upon this in a timely manner, or where maybe you might be able to find future ones, because if people really like it, I am more than happy to make more. I'm also more than happy to keep this purse strap for myself. Or you can use it for whatever kind of strap. I actually have a laced leather tote, and I made it according to a pattern, but the strap size was way too small for that tote, and you can't sling it over your shoulder like I would like. And so you kind of have to carry it almost like a briefcase or whatever. And so I've thought about adding some D-rings on the side of that, and just so that you do have the option of having a shoulder strap if you wanted, and then you could unclip or clip it on and off as you see fit, because it has been useful to carry around. I've been carrying it. It is for sale, but I've been carrying it. I kind of like to do that with the things that I make. I like to carry them around, see how they look, feel, think about like what would I do differently, what do I like about it, and then also I like to carry them around because I want people to comment on them. I haven't had a lot of comments, but I just want to people to see how they function too, and then I can take that feedback and put it into new designs, or decide whether it's worth it to make more of those things if I've just bought the pattern and whatnot. That is just my thought process on making and being a maker, and when it's okay to call yourself a maker. But I will show you guys the end results. Again, links will be in the description for anything, this purse strap specifically, or anything else that I've been working on. I'll have all of the links in the description, but definitely don't expect anyone to click anything as well. But if you just enjoy like this kind of craft talk and making, I'd really appreciate if you'd follow along. I really do want to build a community here of like-minded individuals, and I think we can learn a lot from each other. Like, I learn a lot from the comments on a lot of like posts and videos and stuff like that. And it also just helps me continue to keep going, right? So if you appreciate what I'm doing here, I would appreciate a like or subscribe. If you guys have any ideas for purse straps or belts or anything like that, I really love like looking at vintage things or like things made throughout history too. And like if there's something that's hard to find, like I know some people are really into like Renaissance fairs and like or like historical festivals or reenactments and stuff like that. I'm always looking for ideas on that because like I'm not necessarily in that world, but I do enjoy that. So I'll show you the finished product and I'll leave you be. See you guys.